ChatGPT, can you help me write press releases? Yes, ChatGPT says, I can help you write press releases. I'd say written communication, and it's sent to the media. I'm trying to go through fast. It follows this particular boilerplate. I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'm going to show you how it works with their boilerplate, and I'm also going to show you how it works with the Jess perfect pitch email template. This is how I set a Guinness record. It still works. It still works really well. You might be doing some of these things, and this might help you even more. But the most enticing part, or the most important part, is the subject line or the headline, because that's what gets your email opened. If you are not using software that tracks who's opening and who's clicking, then you are operating like it's the night. All right, ChatGPT, what makes a subject line? Because our headlines are really for these, well, for the subject line and obviously the story that they'll be writing. But if we're thinking about that subject line, what makes it enticing, so enticing that they have to read it? Well, ChatGPT tells me, just gives me the answer, not just searching the internet and here are 9 websites that maybe have the answer. They're saying, one thing is to be clear, concise. It captivates the interest. Be specific. Action words. This is what I'm going to have it do for you right now. Personalize. Again, all of this, the world's information is out there, and it's to get it into our brains and us using it and practicing with it. Your email is more likely to get opened if it says, so my name is Jess, Jess, story pitch, and then an enticing headline. It's one of the other techniques that I talk about. And I'll go back and bring all these pieces together. So personalize with their name. Use numbers, attention grabbing. Keep it short to 50 characters. That's something else. When you hit a certain point in a subject line where it's exciting, just kind of write ... so that they say, I got to open that email, because it gives me a sense of curiosity, maybe some humor. I'll tell you a way I used humor. I wrote a subject line that said something like, the next big motivational speaker, story pitch, the next big motivational speaker, and it said in parentheses, NSA story pitch. So some people, if you're watching this in United States, the NSA is the National Security Administration. They kind of spy and look at stuff, which a journalist would say, oh, what's that about? But the NSA is also the National Speakers Association, which was having an event to be the next big speaker. So I got these journalists to open it. And one journalist said, I'm coming to your event. I'm doing a story. And it was the New York Times. So some of the techniques I'm talking about work, by the way. You can Google my name and New York Times, and you'll see not only am I in there, but I got 10 of my speaker friends in there. And I spend a lot of my time speaking at conferences and training companies. Okay. Be consistent. Use emojis. Okay. I don't ever do that. That's a new one for me. Test. Try different things. Okay. Let's do headlines. Give me 10 subject. For the sake of this right now, I'm going to say subject lines, headlines on a story about how hospitals I'm making this up. Hospitals are have changed since, let's say, COVID, and not COVID-19. I bet you it changes it. I'm giving it more information. We have a client that is St. Mary's Hospital in Tampa, Florida. They have created innovations for touchless as well. Let's see, touchless. as well as I'm just trying to put in as much as I can and see what it spits out, as well as computer innovations, innovations, and I'll tell you something in a second about spelling issues, as well as computer innovations and helping patients faster. Okay, I have put in sometimes it will look at a spelling error and just give you the right answer. But once I said, give me a 5-minute speech that will be made in front of my son's Boy Scout group. And instead of made, I wrote the word mad. So it said to be mad in front of this group. And it was showing somebody being really mad, talking about how the other leaders are so terrible. I was thinking, why is it doing this? It was it was crazy. So that one letter will spit out something different. I can say, give me 10 headlines written by a pirate, and it will change it, and it'll sound like a pirate wrote it. Now, if you have a client where um, uh, being not necessarily being a pirate, but maybe they're from the UK and you want to have a UK different take on it, it will change specific words. We'll do that for this as well. Usually it's instantaneous, but right now there's high traffic, so I will have to wait for a moment. I'll pause the video and then unpause as it spits out the answer. And here we go. Revolutionizing healthcare, how St. Mary's Hospital in Tampa. By the way, if you are a public relations practitioner, you know that local likes local. So they went and put Tampa in the headline. It's leading the way in COVID innovations. And I would just change this to post-COVID innovations, meaning what they're doing now. St. Mary's Hospital in Tampa, the future of touchless computer-assisted care. Boom, I would open that email. I would do that story that they're the future, COVID-19 and the future of hospitals. How about Tampa is the place for the future of hospitals? And story pitch, or I put story pitch in the beginning. Adapting to COVID-19, how St. Mary's Hospital in Tampa is improving patient care. St. Mary's, amazing. That I mean, I like the first ones better, that they're revolutionizing, or it's the future. Adapting to COVID-19 has St. Mary's Hospital, like, okay, you know what? Because I had 10 different ones, and you can ask it to give 50 different ones. That's what this thing will do. You can ask it to tweak and go back and rewrite it, not mentioning St. Mary's Hospital. We're saying St. Mary's of the blank hospital, but we're trying to get this into a subject line. So let's see here. COVID-19, depending on the outlet, COVID-19, the evolution of hospitals. St. Mary's Hospital post-COVID, I like the first ones better. But I mean, how long would you sit there trying to come up with headlines and maybe forget certain words? Leading the way, I like this in the press release. So let's take the first one. And what I say, I liked the future of touchless. So let's take these two. Write a press release. Now, I haven't given it the right facts yet, but I could give it facts. Let's do, well, I was going to say, while it's doing that, I'm going to go into another window, but write a press release on, and I'm going to combine these. Revolutionary, they are the future of touchless computer assisted care. I'm going to give it a few more. Uh, for the sake of this exercise, please create bullet points in the press release with facts you've made up. Pull from your knowledge of AI, computer assisted software in the healthcare field and any other innovations you know of. While it's working on that, let's do a quick search right now for a news story on hospital post COVID innovations. And I want to see what is really out there. While it's busy, where is it? Writing a press release at this exact moment for us. Um, and that's where I was looking for some pressed emails. Fewer COVID cases. The hospitals are still doing something. How are health systems prioritizing digital? Global health equity begins at home. Uh, I don't really even see robotic surgery. I guess hospitals better make the jump. Let's see what it came up with, shall we? Okay, St. Mary's Hospital in Tampa, Florida, is revolutionizing patient care with its cutting edge innovations in response to COVID 19. The hospital has implemented a range of touchless computer assisted technologies that improve patient, it's also including some of the other important elements, which is talking about benefits over features and the FCC, frustrations, concerns, and challenges. I'll talk about that on an upcoming video. Improve patient outcomes, reduce the risk of infection, enhance overall hospital experience. Even if you had different facts, and I just, for the sake of this exercise, said start writing, these are great phrases that you should use with your own client. St. Mary's has developed a touchless check-in system that allows, amazing. If I were a hospital, I would say, is there a way that we can update using some of these tools? Update the check-in system to register appointments. It reduces the need. Hospital also has implemented AI-powered virtual assistants to assist patients with their needs and answer common questions. Now, there's probably all sorts of legal issues if they really did that, but it's kind of cool to see what Chatgpt came up with. And here's the other thing: I would never, and I'll try to say this a few times during this course, I would never just post these um, meaning copy and paste and just send it out as a press release and not have the human part. This is like having an assistant a younger assistant who's next to you, who you can say, now rewrite it and do this. Now add this. Now don't say this. Never say this. You could keep training it on what to do. And then you go back and you tweak it that last little bit, but you're going to get there faster. St. Mary's has incorporated computer assisted technology into the operating rooms to improve surgical outcomes. Complex computer navigation systems. Would this make a good story? Yeah, I'd love to see video on this too. And now, the more I show this, I'm thinking I have a couple of hospitals who are clients and some that are not clients just yet, but I should send it to all of them and say, hey, you should look at this if you're not including this in some way in the work that you're doing. And if you wanted footage to show some of this, you didn't have it, you can take an iPhone, which mine shoots in 4K video, and you can turn it sideways, landscape style, and you can videotape and make sure to follow whatever legal restrictions that you have and get all that checked out. But where before you used to have to hire a whole video crew and lights and there are all these people in there, you now can take video. You can do micro video. You can get real close because they have better cameras that are on there. Let's just read a couple more of these. Hospital also has implemented a cutting edge telemedicine system which allows patients to consult with their doctors remotely. Amazing. So I said include bullet points, and it did, and now it's also including a couple of paragraphs at the end. If you gave it all of the facts that you're hoping to turn into a press release, you can have this create one for you faster. Pretty amazing. All right, now I want to shift over and talk about the perfect pitch template and how you can use this along with ChatGPT. I've showed you a little bit of this, and now I want to just give you the whole template. We'll make sure that you can download a PDF version. Perfect pitch template. The subject, so let me just walk you through this and why it's worked for me and what is entailed here. Subject line is most important. You can decide, but I've had a lot of success by starting it with story pitch or pitch colon. Why? Because the journalist or the person receiving this, I'll just call them generically the journalist, will realize that this is not junk email or that it's not their boss sending them something, or it's, it's hard to tell. They get so much stuff that this is a story pitch. If you want a story pitch, open this email. If you're not the person for story pitches, don't open the email. You can do what you like. And again, I mentioned earlier, you need a tool that can, if you're not using a tool that can track opens and clicks, you are losing in the 21st century. So one popular one, just do a search. There's so many new tools, is Mixmax, Mixmax. And there are other ones if you use Outlook. There are ones that are specific to Outlook. That one is specific to the Google system. And there are a lot of other ones that are out there. I think Yesware, Yesware, is another big one that works with both. If you're somebody who uses HubSpot CRM, then you are likely tracking your emails. And whether you email from HubSpot or you email from your email client, your program, your email program, you need to attach it over there. All right, it's my public service announcement. Hi, first name. Here's what I noticed. I mean, I'm saying this for people who, some of you are saying, oh, I do this already. Okay, cool. I need to say this for people who don't realize. When I was on the receiving end of press releases, I would get ones that just went on, and it didn't say, I could tell it was spam. It just said, hi, editor. And I was thinking, I'm not an editor. What are they talking about? But if it says, hi, Jess, that person will stop and take notice. So I said earlier, there's something I call above the line, below the line. Above the line, would the story below work for you? Huh, what story? I already opened it because it had an enticing headline about how game-changing fashion is going to revolutionize my new year. I'm never going to sit in traffic again because of some sort of change with electronic roadways. Would it work? Would the story below work for you? Then a little something on who the heck is sending this. So they're like, okay, oh, I see, it's a PR person or something like that. All right, cool. Then they look down, and you actually have to. People have seen my template and not done this. You have to write the headline in a large 24-point size, something big that looks like a headline, that looks like something that they would see somewhere and say, I would read that story. I would watch that. I would click. I would listen. I would do. So that's what you do. So it's a headline that grabs you. Tampa Hospital, most innovative, leading the nation. And the subhead says, after COVID-19, hospitals had to change. We've changed and are doing things that make the experience amazing and more healthy. So yeah, obviously you rewrite that. Have ChatGPT rewrite it. Okay, so this tells us what the story, the who, what, when, where, why, how, the 5 W's of journalism. I'll say it slower for people who are international, all across the world who watch this, because I'm a fast talking New Yorker. Let me, who, what, when, where, why, and how are the 5 W's of journalism, and the H. I don't know where they got the H. Okay, so we know what the story is. Next, we skip a couple of lines and we need to put in who it is. So it would say just available for interviews, colon, and on the next line, actually, it should say their name, and then the line below that, how they would be described as if they were on TV. So you kind of see their name and what's written underneath, in the lower third of the screen on television. Let's say it says fitness expert to the stars. You see Jess Toddfeld, which that's not who I am. Fitness expert to the stars. Okay, great. I get the sense of of who now is the expert. And then somewhere a little link to the bio. You can let them go somewhere else. Ideally, a page that you can control. And then the next thing, now that they know what the story is and who is available, that was a big problem for me when I was a producer. I would say, great, you have this new study. Who can we have on? And they would say, oh, yeah, there's nobody that's associated with that. No, you should just talk about it. Yeah, well, we need a guest or we need a person to interview. And they would say, no, we don't have one. Okay, well, I don't know what to do then. And they would say, can't you just read the study? And I would say, no, that's not how my show works. So anyway, the next question is what? What would they say? So these are bullet points, and I started doing that in some of the other videos where I was showing you Chatgpt generating bullet points off of the big paragraphs of what we had. And you can even tell it to create the most interesting ones. You could say rewrite it this way or rewrite it that way. But what you need is at least 5 to 7 strong bullet points of what they would say in an interview, your best couple of ones up first, so that the person says, we definitely should do this story. It's an enticing story. There's somebody credible available. And here are a few things they would say. That's how that works in a pitch meeting. That's how it works when somebody has 30 seconds in a pitch meeting to say, your morning commute will change forever because the electronic highways are being built right now to talk to your future car that will have to be implemented by 2030, but you'll probably have it in a year or two. Or Apple will come out with some gadget you plug into your car and now does 85 different things. And we didn't know it was even coming. And now your commute will completely change. And you want to put that in even the first bullet point. And the person from Apple or the company that created the gadget or you name it is the one to be here. And in a pitch meeting, the way it works is the top level executive producer, whoever it is, says, that's amazing. Okay, let's do it. Then once you've done that, now if you have extra long the extra paragraphs that happen to be long, the traditional look of a press release, then put it in there. Then just put that in. All right. Then your contact information. Something I have not brought up just yet was that your contact, a lot of times people open up with for immediate release and then the contact information. That's your first iPhone. You're going to waste time when somebody has to weed through stuff that's not relevant until the end. At the end, it's relevant because now they care and they need to figure out who you are and how to find you. That, in 8 minutes, is the perfect pitch template. All right, let's write a press release. So I tried to pick something I know very little about, and I started with, what are some interesting top books on architecture? I spelled architecture wrong just to see what it would do, but it fixed it over here. It knew. Modern. I just wanted to see if I spoke in broken English, what it would do. I want, modern architecture. It started giving me a list, and then I clicked stop because 10 was enough, and it just kept going. And I was thinking, well, number 3 is interesting. I said, give me a synopsis of number 3. So we're going to write a press release as if this were my client. Now, it doesn't have access to every book ever, but I said, give me a synopsis of the book Thinking Architecture. Sounds interesting. Written by Swiss architect Peter Zumthor. By the way, if it doesn't have access, you can input, here is information in chunks, because as of right now, you can't put anything too long. I asked it, what's the right amount of text before it gets to be too long? Right now, it's between 500 and 1,000 words. So you can't put an entire PDF or a book as of right now. I have a feeling you will be able to, or they will have a paid version soon that you'll be able to. Are there other AI tools out there? Yes, but they're not quite as good and there yet. If Google or Meta comes out with one that is amazing somewhere in the very near future, and I'm sure they will, we will update this course and include how the nuances play out for PR people. So we'll have to send you a message or you'll check back over here. Okay, thinking architecture. It's divided into 3 parts. Great. So we're writing a press release right now. Give me 10 enticing uh, story headlines I can use in media pitches for this book. Please. I don't think I have to. Okay. Even though I read somewhere. Revolutionizing the way we think about architecture, the emotional side, creating. I have no idea about this book, by the way. I just tried to pick something I don't know about. Designing for the senses, the power of materials, the architect's guide to creating atmosphere, designing emotional experience. I kind of like something about this. So I'm going to say, um, take number 8 and write more that are focused on the average person. Creating a home that speaks to you. Oh, that's kind of cool. Designing for the everyday. Creating a sanctuary at home. Pretty good. Designing for the senses. Making your home come to life. One that reflects your personality. I do like that. So maybe we'll include that. Ooh, designing for an emotional experience. So there's phrases I like that I want to include in the final press release. So now here's what we're gonna do. Let's go over to, let me pause this and I'll show you what we're gonna do. All right, I just wanted a blank document, new press release. Let's make me small and put me up in the corner over here. All right. Let's put here press release for a new book on architecture. Subject line, body, and I'll put here, hi, first name code. Make sure to actually fix that. I've sent out emails years ago, but a couple that said, hi, first name code. And people laughed and said, is this a mass email? And then I had a whole dialogue and I actually got some things booked by being a human being. It's just funny, we're talking about AI. Would the story below work for you? All right. Jess Todfeld. Ambassadors, agency. This. Okay, this is below the line. We're going to make this real big in a second. Let's take this headline. I'd probably be tweaking it a little bit more. And I have a, let's see here. Yeah, home that speaks to you. Have Peter Zumber's thing. Let's how groundbreaking author Peter Zumbor's thinking architecture is inspiring the next innovation in your home. I'm going to even make this italicized because that's going to be the subhead. There was something else I liked. Creating one that tells a story. these can be some of the bullet points in a moment. And this, it's a little messy right here, but I'll clean it up. Let's, what I say, 20, 24 point size. Let's make it bold. It's got to look like a newspaper headline. It also means that, I think technically the T is supposed to be, let's make it capitalized. That it has to be capitalized, creating a home that speaks to you. Um, let's see here. Dot, dot, dot. Your personality can create the home of your dreams. And use ellipses everywhere. The dots, I apparently like to overuse them. And how groundbreaking author Peter Zumthor's thinking architecture is inspiring the next innovation. And we'll save those for the bullet points. And this is an important point. Available for interviews. And we're going to put on here Peter Zumthor. Never heard of him. But I mean, he is the author. Thinking architecture. And let's say we'll put the bio right here. And we'll link to something. We would click the link button, but I don't have a link right now. And then let's say 2023 award winner for home innovation. And what, and now here's something else we want to do. Bold, underlined. Bold. Sometimes when you do a link these days, it doesn't have the underline. So we'll put that in there. And let's say what Peter, this is important how we word this, Peter can say in an interview. And these will be bullet points, bullets, underline. Let's go back on here. Give me 10 really interesting bullet points on what the author, Peter, can say about making your home more innovative, how to share more of your personality, how the home can tell a story, etc. Let's see what it says. Too many requests. Try back in an hour. Well, let's see if we can work around that. All right, so I'll tell you some of the workarounds that people have used. I'm glad this actually came up at a certain point because it might happen to you as more and more people are discovering this. Sometimes when you switch to a different computer with a different IP address, sometimes when you switch to a different device or a different browser, you can get in with a different account. So I'm going to work on that and I'll include more in the next video. All right, just to give you an update, what I did was I waited about 10 minutes, or actually I was trying for 10 minutes, and I ended up going to another browser. I do use a VPN, which means that it kind of makes it look like you're coming in from other places in the world. Could be another state in the US or a whole other country. I tried another browser and I was able to get it to start working in about 10 minutes. I'm using it in more than I ever have just to be able to deliver this course, to keep asking questions and show you things. Usually I'll go in and I'll start something and then start working with it. So I've heard people have gotten that message. You might get it, but just realize that it might take some ebb and flow and that we probably will have to pay for things that we really like. So I just went back and I said, okay, create bullet points on the most interesting things that Peter can say in an interview on the topic that we chose, which was creating a home that speaks to you, and the subheadline as well. Move myself over here. Okay, what Peter can say in an interview. So we need bullet points right here. So let's see what bullet points they came up with. I said, what can I said, give me what he could talk about. The way to really do it well is to have it actually be quotes. So I'm going to say rewrite these. I haven't really even read them closely. Rewrite these as quotes that he could say in an interview. I love that you can just talk to it like a person. Um, and let's see the role of materials, paying attention to the details. Great. This is what I want. Good. So we're going to copy and paste that into the press release, and then we're almost done over here. All right. So let me look back and see what's left. All right. And this was some scrap that I had on here. Did I have anything else? So just below that would be add longer press release paragraphs about him here. You could either take that from his website, contact information. You'd be surprised that people would leave out contact information um, at the bottom of an email. Sometimes they just forget, and then you look and you say, they figure, well, it's in the email signature, and their email signature is not there. And you definitely do need a phone number or cell phone so people could just get you. International, WhatsApp, um, an email that's really good. What happens if somebody says, okay, we want it, but we want it right this second? Put all of that in there and make sure to note if it's that person directly. Let's see if this finished. It did. So I'm going to copy this and bring it on over to the bullet point section. Obviously, you would take a little bit more time to comb through and read what this says. I'm trying to do this for the sake quickly for the sake of the exercise as quickly as I can. And I'm going to make it into bullet points. Let's see. Here we go. I usually even have a little breathing room between some of the bullet points. Here's what I'd want you to do. I want you to read through these, put the best ones first. And when I say breathing room, I hold the shift and return down. Shift and return so that it's easy to eyeball. Shift and return. Shift and return. Well, this seems like not that big of a deal. There you go. But for somebody who has read thousands and thousands and thousands of press releases, being on the receiving end as a TV producer for more than a decade, I knew which ones worked, which ones didn't, which ones were just people who really got it. So I'm giving you a lot of that information right now. So what Peter could say, notice how this breathes more. You can read it. Your personality can create the home of your dreams. It is important to create a sense of place and atmosphere that reflects, easy for me to say, who you are. Paying attention to the details. So look, if we were to really create this press release, I would have bullet points of him actually saying, anyone can do this. If we're talking about general media and not architecture media, anyone can do this. You need to follow these 5 steps to be able to do this in your home. I talk about it in the book. I'm pretending I'm Peter. And here's how you can make it happen. And where can you get this? I mean, walk through the who, what, when, where, why, and how to make this better. And you see, of course, what works well here. So you get the idea using the template. what it looks like, and also using OpenAI to create these bullet points. Now, you may say, but Jess, my person, whether it's you or a client of yours, their information is not here. You can pull from, meaning before 2021, for the tool here to recognize. You can input information. So I was taking from my book called Media Secrets, a media training crash course. So I'm just going to go up here so you can see it. I highly recommend it, by the way. Of course I do. I wrote the book. It includes, by the way, a free media training quick start audio that you can give to clients or use yourself. So here's what I did as a test. All right. I went through the digital version. Here it is. And I just copied the introduction. All right. So we're going to go back over to the OpenAI tool. And we are going to, let's see here. We are going to ask, please, here we go, for a different book on media training, media secrets, please create bullet points for a press release that look like quotes from the author. And I'm pasting in the whole introduction of the book, and we're going to see what it says. So you can do this taking pieces from a client that you have and being able to put it in here. All right, we're going to be doing this with sound bites, but I know I showed you in the beginning me quickly doing it. So it's taking some of the sound bite techniques that we teach, that I teach, and being able to train the tool to be able to create sound bites that you would then give to your client. All right, let's see here. Navigating the waters, the media continues. These are all great. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. The interview can be conducted with their smartphone, people's smartphones. See, again, we need to tweak this just a little bit through social app. A Google search can paint a different picture. I don't even remember what I was talking about. All right, but you get the idea of how you can use this and be able to create press releases. Pretty cool. All right, let's go into sound bites. What is a sound bite for media? I know how I describe it. I say that usually for video or audio interviews, out of all of the words that are said, it's that one bite of sound, that one important answer that the media person has chosen. And the goal when creating sound bites is not to just create snappy answers, it's to create answers that will be chosen so that your exact answer makes it into an interview. Now, Chatgpt may disagree with me, but that's okay. I do this for a living. But let's see. A short soundbite is a short, memorable statement, sure, from an interview or a speech. By the way, in print, it's called quotes, used by TV and radio to summarize or highlight a key point, typically between 10-15 seconds long. True, although when I worked in television, we didn't really want a clip to go below, above 20 seconds. Sometimes it had to be 30 or 40 seconds because it was something that somebody big in media had said. And chosen for its ability to grab the audience's attention, convey information succinctly, and to make an impact. So let's see. Again, I gave you my answer on it. You could always go back and ask ChatGPT more. All right, so here's something that I want to share with you. In the book Media Secrets, we teach the 14 strategies for creating a perfect and irresistible soundbite. So I'm going to train the machine, and this is what you should do. And you have to paste this. We'll put it in the we'll put it in this course so that you can copy and paste. And let's see here. For the types of sound bites I'd like to create, let's use this list as the types I'm looking for. and we'll hit enter. Now, um, it's giving generic ones right now. That's fine. But I'm going to stop generating. It probably would have been interesting for you to see what it put in there. Please create sound bites using the techniques, but for Peter's book. You can't talk to Google that way. All right, here we go. Absolutes. The media likes when you speak in absolutes. Creating a home that speaks to you is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Oh, why? According to our research, homes designed to reflect one's personality have been proven to improve overall well being. Now, listen, you would ask your client what they think of this, but you can create more that include action words. Obviously, I picked an example of a book I know nothing about, a client that I've never worked with. But if it's your client, you would be able to tweak these. You could say, give me more with action words. Give me more that are shocking. It looks like it started to mix them up here because it's not perfect. Many media training programs neglect the most important aspect of media interactions, the desired outcome. I mixed up this whole chat. See, it says new chat because I started asking it about my book. So this one wouldn't make sense. It's starting to switch, and I'll write here. Do not include sound bites about media training, comma, just about, I don't know why I had to say comma, just about Peter's book on architecture. All right. And let's see here. It will continue. While it's writing, I'll look and see what was written here. Pop culture reference. Designing a personalized home is like creating your own Hogwarts. Make it magical and reflective of who you are. Now, we can have it create 10 different ones just on pop culture references. Um, this is cute. The wingman. Again, I don't think I would use these two, but you're going to find ones that you would use because right now you're looking at it and saying, I don't like that one. Designing a personalized home is like writing a signature. It's unique and tells your story. That's pretty darn good. I like that. Rhetorical questions. Why settle for generic home when you can have one that truly represents who you are? Wow. Okay. Great. Triple play is when there's three absolutes or three items. People like threes. Humans like threes. Design, atmosphere, and personality are the three key elements of creating a home that speaks to you and to other people. I would put in there. Lip service. Let's create more. Let's see what this is. It gave some more here. Look, many architects fail to prioritize the emotional connection between a person and their home in their designs. It's shocking, and it's a conflict quote too. Here's another conflict quote. The traditional approach to architecture is too rigid. We must break free and think outside the box. So again, this is a starting place for you to really build and take it to the next level. Let's see here. Let's give me more using cliches. All right, let's see what it says. Don't just build a house, create one that tells your story. Um, it's the foundation. Get it? Like the foundation the house sits on. Designing a personalized home. I've never seen these before, by the way. I'm doing it live in front of you so that you can see what happens. We live in a cookie cut. I like this already. It's why. Why live in a cookie cutter home when you can have one that stands out from the crowd? So not only is cookie cutter a cliche, but it uses one of our other techniques of using a rhetorical question. Create a home that will be the envy of the neighborhood or all your friends. This is how I would tweak that. Not just another brick in the wall. Okay. I don't love that part. And again, this is what we're doing. We don't have to not everyone is going to be perfect. Just like when I do a media training with a group and I get people to create their own sound bites on the fly, I'll usually say, you're going to create 5 or 10 of them and maybe only like 3. And one of the things that I do in a media training is I get people to take ownership over the material. This is how they can deliver it better, by creating their own messaging and their own sound bites. And when I say their own messaging, I'll do a video about that. It's really taking all of the facts and the details that were given in the big packet from a PR practitioner, and it's helping them to organize them into 3 categories. All right, I hope this was helpful. Now let's work on a suggested Q&A that interviewers could use in an interview. I said interview twice, but I'm just typing fast. Let's see what it says. One of the great things to include in a press release, or I should say, your press packet. Again, I've said this before. I hate the idea of the old press release. They don't work. It's not what I teach. Um, you want to be helping this person to have content that's easy to access, easy to say yes, and easy to access. So one is not just, hey, here's a Q&A you must use, but a suggested Q&A. Or actually, I'm sorry, I should have called it the possible Q&A, meaning these are questions you can ask or not ask, whatever you like. And guess what? They'll probably ask most of them. And you can come up with your own. I didn't actually expect it to create the answers. Um, so, and I asked for 20. Yikes. So I'm going to say stop. Just give me possible questions without answers, which, by the way, it may help you to have the answers for you. And you can go back to help the author to guide them where they could go with their own book and say, hey, listen, you can take it wherever you want, but I'm at least getting you started. So if this tool had more of the book in there, it could have that. But when giving it to the media, actually, you decide whether you want the questions and the answers. You can have just the questions, and then maybe short bursts, now that I think about it, on the answers, because the question they always have is, what will this person say? You get to decide. I have had it given to me both ways. Because you may say, Jess, this is the way they do it. They always have the answers, or they always don't have the answers. I've had it given to me both ways. Notice it's easier to eyeball right here, which is, what inspired you to write this book? What sets it apart from other books? Can you tell us about the specific project you worked on, um, that exemplifies the principles? Obviously, you're a human being. You can come up with your own questions, but you can pull from these to get through your job faster. It also may come up with some great ones that you did not come up with. You can input the questions you came up with and say, how can you make this better? How can you make this more enticing for a women's magazine? Right? And then they'll rewrite your questions that you already came up with. You can put in your 10 questions and say, these are my 10 questions or 20 questions. Which enticing questions am I missing? And then it'll come up with them. I know I'm getting excited here. Can you discuss any upcoming projects? What role do you see technology playing? You can take any one of these and you can say, come up with 5 more on number 15. And it will, or different angles. Or you can take one of the sound bites that we had. Let's go over here and look at one of the, oh, we didn't put the sound bites in there. Let's grab the sound bites from earlier. Let's go and take cookie cutter. Okay, let's take this one. Using this sound bite, create 5 interesting questions for a women's magazine. It does. Not really. Let's see here. I mean, homeowners. And you can keep just the slightest phrasing that you put in there will help it to come up with something better. Mention women in this list. There you go. So sometimes you gotta push it. Sometimes it'll say, "Oh, I can't do that." And you can say, "Well, what if it's this? What if it's that?" You can keep asking questions. So how female homeowners, but I use the word women, so they're forcing it, can create a unique and personalized living space. Okay. What are some ways women can diffuse, or I'm sorry, infuse, trying to think and talk at the same time, personality and individuality into your home design? How can women homeowners ensure that their home reflects style and stands out from the crowd? Create a list. A statement that sets it apart. So you get the idea. You can also say, rewrite that for uh, a male audience and talk about home offices. See what it does. Because now you can pitch a story on home offices for dudes to a men's magazine. Just trying to pick the opposite. How can men create a unique and personalized home office that stands out from cookie cutter designs? Or something that can infuse personality and individuality. I would take this and I'd ask it to create more. I would say, men, your office lacks personality and individuality. Here's 5 things that you can do. Um, and anyway, I would put that in here and I'd start asking for it. But this particular video is about the Q&A. So here's what I want to say to close this part out. When it comes to a Q&A section that you're including in your press materials, you can include the question, the answer. I would start by just generating the questions first, tweak them, pick the ones that you like. And if you've given it the right information, you can ask it for a few sentences and always ask for what is most interesting, most enticing, something that includes elements of those sound bites, because then the media person will look and say, "Oh, this is great. I would love them to say it." Here's another important part. Make sure you share this with your client or the author or whoever that is so that they can feel like it actually matches what they would say, and say, "Hey, listen, I was testing out this new AI tool, or we had an assistant start with this," or something to the effect of saying, we're, we want to collaborate together, tweak some of these answers, especially if it's something they would say. Because when I was a producer, sometimes we would have the materials there and I would talk to that person on the phone and say, "All right, we're doing a pre-interview." The biggest shows do a pre-interview. And I would say, "Can you talk more about this?" And they would say, "Oh, I don't talk about that." And I would realize the publicity person put it in there and never asked their client, "Is this something you can talk about?" So sometimes the thing that excited me the most was something they couldn't even talk about. All right, the Q&A. You can use ChatGPT to make it even better. Okay, in the first module, I very quickly showed you how I can take a longer piece of content, or in this case, the press release that was written by this particular county trying to help people with the winter freeze. And I inputted the whole thing in there. And ChatGPT remembers a chat, as we put on the side over here. You see it says, this is a chat about this. It'll name it for you, but you can name it and you can save them and go back to them, which is pretty cool. But what I had said was, here's what we need to do. We need to take that information and to better help a spokesperson on being able to remember and deliver messages. This is what we teach our media training clients. We organize them into 3 categories. So we have a document that has 3 columns, and I have them take answers and write in each of the columns. And what we need to do is come up with 3 categories that their brain will remember, and ideally 1 word each. So in that short video, in the first section that I designed just to give you a sense of how to run out and start using this thing. I talked about problem, solution, call to action, and I created a number of bullet pointed answers. Here it is. Give me bullet pointed answers for the category of problem or the problems on this issue. These are possible answers this person can give. You could put this in a document and say, listen, just play in these three areas and you are on message. Here are the problems we see. And here's something else that I'll just share with you. The trick really in delivering, this is, you'll have to see one of our courses on media training or, figure something else out. But anyway, I'm trying not to be overly promotional here. Um, for them delivering, you need to give a three-part answer in every answer. So the trick really is to say, look, the problem is that we have 3,000 unhoused people, but only 1,000 shelter beds. So what is the solution? The solution is we've created this push. We've gotten more donations. We have these other places that we have temporary beds. On the coldest day, we're putting beds in between just at bedtime, and people have to step over other people. You need to figure out how they're delivering a solution. We're going to ask for solutions in 1 second here. And then we need a call to action if that was the third category. The trick is to give a set of answers. I can deliver it about my topic. Look, the problem is when it comes to media training or media interview techniques, most people don't have a system. They wing it. Winging it's not a system. Now I'll move to a solution. The good news is there are solutions like being able to come up with 3 words that mentally are your GPS or roadmap to get to every answer. And here comes a call to action. People who are listening right now who will be delivering interviews, go arm yourself with techniques. Don't bumble around and make the mistakes other people do. Go get some of the techniques so that you're able to deliver interviews in a quicker, smarter, better fashion. And you can create more results from the people you talk to. ROI, return on interviews. Now, that was just a long version that I was giving you, but I wanted to let you know what I think about when I'm creating these. So let's create a message category of just answers related to the solutions that Sonoma County is taking. These will be phrases our spokesperson can say. All right. So these are the answers. I made up answers because I have no idea about this topic. And I said that you put beds in between. That sounds actually like a terrible solution. We have warming tents and sanitation. Ooh, that's pretty good. We've added 53 additional winter beds. Well, we need almost 1,000 more. We're 53 into the 1,000 more beds that we need. We're working on warming centers. As soon as it hits close to freezing, we're bringing people in. Municipal buildings are being used. Ooh, that's pretty good. A safe haven. That's a great soundbite word because there's a motion attached to it. If you watch the section on sound bites, Sonoma County Commission on Human Rights is working to ensure that all necessary resources are being provided to address, okay, the resources. I'm looking for specifics here. I'm asking a lot. We only just created this, and I'm asking a lot. We're committed to finding solutions. Okay. Our priority is that there's no discrimination. Ooh, that's pretty good. And so if they were delivering a 3-part answer, they would say, look, here's the problem. Problem is we have all these people. We're quickly pushing them through a system. And I want people to know that one of our priorities is that there is also no discrimination that occurs within members of this community. We just want all of these people to have a safe and warm shelter to go to. One of the other, and that would be the end of that in a call to action. If you've seen, here comes a call to action. We haven't gotten to those messages yet. If you see somebody who seems displaced, and you don't know if they're homeless or what their situation is, you can report to this line. In fact, please report to this line. We don't want people to be cold and hungry this winter. So we're close. Here's another solution. We're working closely with the local service providers including mental health professionals and these professionals and those ones. Almost all of what we're doing is on donations. We need more. Here comes the call to action. We need more donations. Okay, now a set of messages that are in the category of call to action. I said one word, action, but it's really a call to action. Most people do not include calls to action when they deliver media interviews, and nothing happens. If you don't ask, nothing happens. If you are doing an interview and you don't tell people what they should do, nothing will happen. Just letting you know. It's my public service announcement. We urge the county and city officials to take immediate action in providing safe and warm shelter. Great. It is the time for community to come together and support the unsheltered population. And it continues. We call on county and city to utilize. We encourage residents to blank. It is a responsibility of the county and the city. Great. You get the idea. It's calls to action. I'm going to stop it right here because we get the idea. What about you and your topic and your calls to action? What can you put in there to see what it generates? If you say, let's see, we had the book about architecture. Let's push this to the side. For Peter's, I don't even remember his last name, book on architecture and the media messages we came up with. Please create call to action messages. I don't even know if that was in this chat. Well, we'll see how it does. Messages that he can use in the interview. I bet I could say this with less words. But let's see. I might have had, oh good, it did remember it. It must have been in this chat. If it's in a different chat, sometimes it might get confusing. You just need to remind it of whatever it's missing. Don't settle for a cookie cutter home. Do these things. Take action. Create the space that speaks to you and represents who you are. Wouldn't you want that in your life? Don't just read about home trends or watch a segment on a TV show about home design trends. Take a step today. Go to my website where you get some of the free tips. Of course, you should buy the book. I'm pretending I'm Peter. And take the steps and turn this vision of letting people know who you are and having a space that lights you up every day and makes you happy into a reality. Don't wait any longer to make the home of your dream a reality. Pick up a copy of the book and start your journey today. You can do that. You pick the ones you like. Don't be satisfied with a boring generic home. Let this book show you how to create a unique and personal living space. If I were working with one of my clients and I saw them on an interview, I know the interviewer would go, "Woo, yay!" A computer came up with that answer. So you need to take these answers and use it as a PR practitioner, and you can have your client practice with some of these or practice with a professional if you so choose. And I think it'll be really great. All right. So you see there's some more on there. I think that's enough as far as messaging and being able to deliver a 3-part message. Use the tools. 1900s, the 20th century. Are you in the 20th century or the 21st century is my question. You need a headline that is enticing enough for people to click and open. And that's where we're going to start. We're going to come back to this. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it has a headline. So the headline obviously is important for a press release, but I'm saying right now, this is what we're going to work on right now in this video, headlines. So I went over to the Google News and I typed in, oh, that's big. Let's make my face smaller. For immediate release, in quotes, and book and diet, to come up with a diet book. So I clicked on one of these, this first one, and it says here, carnivore gut microbes offer insight into health of wild ecosystems. I don't know what that is. This was my problem as a TV producer. I would be confused. So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a few things so you get a sense of not only how I'm using Chatgpt, but how I also think. So first, I'm going to say, summarize. Here we go. Please summarize this press release. Enter. Let's see how quickly. Boom! It's summarizing. Isn't this crazy? This is what life is like in the future. Okay. This press release, this is what I said. Where is it? Where is it? This press release here called Carnivore Gut Microbes Offer Insight. I didn't know until ChatGPT, I mean, I could have read it before ChatGPT told me that it's a new study. New study found that microbial ecosystem in the guts of wild marten. How does that relate to me? Is what I'm trying to come up with here. And pristine natural habitat from the gut microbiome of wild. Does this teach us about the human gut? We don't even have to put a question mark, by the way. Of the wild marten. Okay, so why do I care? Why would a journalist care? Sometimes you have to let it finish or click the stop generating button, which is new as of right now. While it's not focused, it does show that the gut microbe of animals can be affected by the environment. Some studies have established, by the way, you can ask it things like, tell me about other studies and tell me about this. Right as of the recording, January 16th over here, it only goes up to, it's been trained for a few years, but as far as what's on the internet, kind of goes up to 2021, and they've decided, what they're including and what they're not. Let's put on here. Why would a journalist care? Journalists may, obviously, I'm trying to go as fast as I can to show you here. May be interested in this study because it proves new information and insights on the impact of human activity on the environment. Okay. Again, this is what a journalist deals with, which is, well, I'm confused. Why would I do this story about the animal? Where is it? That's my outline for what I'm going to share with you. The whatever this animal is, wild marten. All right, so let's get some good headlines. So before I came up with, I could have just asked it for headlines, but I would like to know why I should care as a journalist. Maybe interested in the study because for new insight on the impact of human activity on the environment, using gut microbes as a marker for wild ecosystems. Okay, please come up with, you don't have to say please, but I think I read an article that said sometimes you may get better results, but I'm just being polite. Okay, sometimes I've just said, do this thing. Please come up with 10 headlines to here, even though it's for a press release, with 10 interesting news headlines that will get readers excited and stop and read the article. Now, I'm purposely writing in a run-on sentence because you can ask questions like a human would if we were in a conversation. All right, let's zoom in here. 10 new study uncovers shocking link between human activity and we could just say wild animals, because Martin gut microbiomes, I would get thrown off between a humans and wild animal. How about that? I like the word shocking. True state of wild ecosystems, revolutionary discovery. Come on, people. If you had a subject line, revolutionary discovery, you know that they would be saying, what is this? Wild Martin gut microbes can be used to access ecosystem health. I would change the second part of this and pull from one of these other ones. The secret to understanding our ecosystems lies in wild Martin guts. So maybe I would combine this with this. And obviously, so my point is this, which is this is the perfect start. Sometimes they come up with something great on the spot and you say, well, there it is. I could just use that. But usually it's a combination of these and you using your human brain also, but this will get you there faster. Let's see here. The secret to understanding our wild ecosystem, groundbreaking. I like, again, groundbreaking study. Did that say in the beginning? Groundbreaking study shows how human impact is changing wild guts, and information on our how it affects our own gut health. That's it. You're seeing this in action. I took something random off the internet, and this is the best. This is what they came up with. This is a press release according to what I clicked on. Okay, carnivore gut microbes. I'm so glad I picked a boring one, because it's not explaining why I should care. And we could play this game all day long. And I want to do one more, but I gave you the where is it? Where is Chatgpt? I gave you the summary, and then I said, "Why should we care?" And let me even do this. Give me 10 interesting bullet points from the press release. It remembers our previous conversation. Did I say that? It does. And when you create what they call a chat, I'm assuming when you started this course that you had some basic idea of ChatGPT, and I shouldn't assume. I should have turned it into 5 more lessons. But go there, sign up with a name and email, or your Google, Gmail type of entry. You can use that as a name and password. Then on the side here, you can save these chats, and it remembers what you were talking about. But again, it can help you to dissect information faster. So it's giving me bullet points, and this is part of the secret of I'll show you right over here, perfect pitch template. So you have a subject line that gets them to open the email, and above the line, so there's this line, we have what looks like a short email. All right. Hi, first name. Does the story below work for you? And they're going to see this headline and then a subheadline, and we can work on those. But let's see here. So we can take these 10, and this is a much better way if we included them as bullet points, because in a press release, because journalists need to eyeball something. And I should just say this, come on, we're all busy, and who has time to just sit and read and dissect and make sense of why do I care about this? You get 5 seconds before the finger goes down on the delete button. So what we need to do is we need to make it where they can quickly open the email. Ooh, that's enticing. They look and it's, hey, would this work for you? They see a headline. They go, okay, well, but what do I care? And then they see the bullet points. Hey, this groundbreaking, I would even change this to a groundbreaking new study, has found that microbial systems of the guts of wild marten, I would probably put that in the second one, of a certain animal in the wild, can help us to learn more about how humans are changing the ecosystem and something about our own gut health. Again, this needs to be reordered so they can decide how they can do this story. If it's for television, how do you make it visual? We need to see pictures of the animal. Can you bring the animal? Can you use this as a jumping off point to talk about gut health? So let's just do in the very next video a quick creation of all different types of headlines for all different types of genres.